Podcast. I'm Sam, and today I've got a special guest here, a longtime friend, a previous coworker, in fact, and he's done a lot since we worked together, and actually, the man's done a lot in his life, and I'm happy to share his life's what he's doing with him now, and where he's going. So. I'm going to introduce to you guys Mr. Rusty Rainbolt. How you doing, Rusty?
Hi guys, I'm doing great. Like your title says, I'm living the dream. Out in the middle of rural America, trying to make things happen, and love manufacturing and getting to play and getting to make things every day. So yeah, doesn't get much better than that.
Fantastic, man. So you've got they can see there at the bottom there's a Maker's Equipment. So we'll just start off with that. What is Maker's Equipment?
So Maker's Equipment's kind of my brainchild. Where it came from, the impetus was actually I started my own company and I have the best timing in the world. I actually went full time, quit my other job in February 2020. And so
Wow.
perfect timing for the entire world to shut
Yeah,
down.
great
Um,
time.
yeah, and so I was planning on being another component manufacturer. We worked together in aerospace years ago. Loved it. Actually grew up with my dad running lathes and mills in the garage. Like aerospace isn't it's in my blood. Um, and so I was like, I'm gonna go do this. It's gonna be cool. World shut down. I went, okay, well maybe I have to pivot a little bit. Um, and so that's where Maker's Equipment started. Is I live in rural Arkansas, outside of Fayetteville, but far enough out that getting power and all the exciting things you can get in big cities sometimes a challenge. As we were just talking about off camera, the internet can even be an issue, just being connected. So anyway, I started trying to buy equipment for my little shop and found out that it's really, really expensive in our market to buy equipment. Anything that's cheap is kind of, they say it's CNC, but you have to do a lot of hand math and you punch numbers in. It's not really CNC.
Yeah.
And most people don't offer anything that's not on three-phase power, and my lovely power company wanted $65,000 for three-phase power to come half a mile. And so I just decided, hey, maybe we can do something a little different. So since we worked together in aerospace, I worked in the foundry industry, and I ended up running a machine shop there for a foundry in Manhattan, Kansas. And we did ductile iron machining, but we also did some really crazy heat treat machining.
Okay.
And while
Heat
we were
treat
doing that,
machining?
do what?
Heat treat
Which,
machining?
well, heat treated, like post heat treatment parts that are already
Oh,
really
okay.
hard. The metal doesn't like to come off.
Right. Okay.
Because there's also like in part of the world is an iron, and so the more you dig into it, the harder it gets. It work hardens after being heat treated too. It's pretty cool stuff in the ag industry and things. It's called Austin ductile iron. Um,
Okay. Okay.
but I ended up we did really well heat treating it, and so I started teaching for our vendor on how to machine this stuff. And so I'd go up to Detroit a couple times a year and teach Ford and John Deere and Case and Kuhn Krause how to machine parts. Um, and it was so fun. Yeah, it was great. Um, and then actually got recruited by those guys to do heat treat design to reshore parts. And so I spent the next 6 years actually helping design parts to bring them back from China and back from India, um, because the heat treatment
Fantastic.
work they did, we were able to like redesign stuff, use different materials, take stuff from being multi-piece assemblies, turn them into castings or forgings, and it was really fun work. Um, but they actually offered me the job of building out their area and then starting a plant. So I got to build a factory from the ground up and then ran that for 2 years until they sold. And they sold to the world's largest heat treat company, Alberts. And at that point, I was like, "What? This is perfect timing. Let's go do my own thing." Anyway, so that's how I got to me starting my own company. But when I started looking at equipment, I went, I think we can do this different because there's nothing wrong with equipment in our market. We have really good friends that make similar equipment to what I'm making, and you know them well. And if they hear this podcast, I've had some conversation with some of them. I'm not even competing with those guys. I'm more of,
Right.
to give you guys a picture, I'm trying to build the Chevy of forming equipment that's going to, or in your case, a Ford. I know you're a Ford guy. The Ford that's going to get you from home to work and back every day. It's not going to it's not going to do 100 mile an hour. It's not going to look as snazzy as like the Lincoln or something like that would, but it's going to do the job. And so I went to buy some of the equipment, and I realized I couldn't afford it. I didn't have power options. There were just so many things in the way of a garage shop, a startup getting off the ground. And so I went, I think we can do it different with my background. And so I actually started this thing and really got off the ground with my first prototype in about 2022. Spent a couple of years trying to figure out how to design the equipment to where I wanted it. And I thought I'm going to start with a hydroform press because that's the highest pressure. It's the heaviest machine. I mean, the lightest
Right.
machines on the market today are 18,000 pounds, and they cost about $300,000. And
Wow.
so, even the lightest ones, you're looking at rigging and all the stuff to get it where you want it. And so I was like, worst case scenario, I design one, and no one wants it, and so I have one. I can run that in my shop.
Right. It's a
Yeah.
win-win.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the best case scenario, someone else sees my vision, and we help manufacturers like me that want to get off the ground or add capacity. And so I set some goals. I ended up beating all the goals. So I ended up my prototype, and the first one I launched on the market back in August is a 12-inch forming box, 2,500 psi, works out to around 200 tons of forming pressure. It's a single-side diaforming press, but it comes in at 1,970 pounds
Wow.
and only takes up 6 square feet of floor space. Uh, it's light enough that you can move around with a pallet jack. It runs on a 30 amp dryer plug-in, 220 single phase power.
Perfect.
It actually uses about 9 amps, to be honest. A little safety factor there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so that really sparked this of, okay, I can do this, and I want to make it available for other people like you and I that love tinkering in the garage, would really like to make some money in the garage if we can. And so my vision, we can get into all the details with questions in a minute, but my whole vision is I want to make a full NADCAP capable package. Um, so hydroform press, 60-ton press brake, CNC controlled, does all the setback bend gain for you. A little laser mill combo, and a drop bottom heat treat oven. And someone can go get a loan for $300,000 and put the entire system in their garage for less than that. So
Wow.
that's my goal. So I want to deliver a whole system for what other people are delivering one piece of equipment.
There you go. There
So
you go.
yeah,
That's man, that's fantastic. That's definitely a unique concept because I don't think that most people would even think that there was something available on the market that could do some of the things that you and I have seen done on the larger scales. Um, as a matter of fact, I have a brother that works for a company that worked on the largest hydroform press that we had at our
okay,
previous employer. And the only other one that was in competition with that, well, I believe I can say Verson. If I get in trouble, we'll edit it out at a later date.
fair.
You got to have listeners for people to get in trouble for. So
Oh,
we're tens of listeners. We're still,
10. All
um,
10s of you. Be nice.
yeah, all 10 of you. Be nice. But the Verson press that we had at our previous employer, they the only one that was similar or bigger than that, I believe, just got decommissioned.
Yep.
So
So a lot of these presses that are out there, some of them are World War II vintage still.
yeah,
Huge gray iron things that you build a pit, you set the machine in, and you build a building around it. I mean, the
right.
infrastructure cost is insane.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's that's exciting. That's where I started. Was like, sure, let's go buy the lightest one on the market, and was like, oh, I can't afford that. I'm not rich.
Right. That's not even feasible. What on earth?
Yeah, precisely.
So okay, so you're wanting to do the full NADCAP capable with the drop bottom oven. You said it was a mill laser combo. Is that what you said?
Yeah, it's in development now. It's something that doesn't exist, which uh,
Right.
it without getting too detailed. They're so similar in capabilities, but the ruggedness is the main difference. And
Right. I can see
um,
that.
obviously, this machine wouldn't run 1,800 inches a minute or more. High end lasers are in the thousands of inches a minute. But like, if you're in a garage shop, that's kind of scary. You don't really need it to be running that high speed. If you're running 400 to 500 inches a minute, you're probably going to be pretty darn happy because also your overhead is almost nothing.
Right.
And so yeah, I have a concept that I'm working on that I'd like to get patented next year on a couple things to be able to have both machines in one. And so that's fibers obviously made that easier, and then just
Yes.
some other advancements that have happened in the last 10 years in manufacturing. It's some things they're available today, but I feel like we've always in our markets have gone faster, bigger, more just in time, that kind of deal. And I don't think people necessarily step back and said, yeah, but what if instead of having 10 shops that can do things on massive scales, we had 10,000 shops that could do things next week, you know?
Well, and then you get into the farmer and ag market too, to where you've got a lot of this stuff that, they're running on a tight budget. A lot of them, they want to just do it themselves. So this is that's a big deal too, because now you're giving them the capability to produce the parts that they need to keep their equipment going, especially since John Deere I believe they just broke the deal to where now they're no longer, they can't hold farmers to their service contract to where they can actually work on their own equipment now
Nice.
because they got rid of all the electronic stuff. So that's a huge opener for being able to do stuff on the farm. And there's plenty of farmers out there. They may look like a bunch of dumb hicks in overalls, but
Hmm.
there's some big brains going on up there. There's a lot of science and a lot of engineering that those farmers have to do every day.
Yeah.
And that's awesome that you've got that potential for them.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's really cool because I the whole thing when I was bringing stuff back on shore was like I want to feed manufacturers. I want to see us have that manufacturing that we all dreamed about and talked about that we had in the late 50s, where like everyone and their brother started up a garage shop, and now those garage shops are 300-person employee companies.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, I guess like what you're saying with the John Deere thing, the whole right to repair. That's a big movement to be able to not have to throw everything away. I actually had a friend, a buddy over in Tulsa, that he was a congressman over there in Oklahoma for a few terms, and one of his big pushes was to help, break that door down and get the right to be able to fix your own stuff again. So yeah, that's it's a weird direction we went with manufacturing. Manufacturer new every time, but I'm glad to see its pendulum swinging back a little
Well, and
bit.
I think a lot of that has been, the overseas. Yeah, it's cheaper to do it, but when I think everybody's starting to realize that cheaper is not better. That sometimes you need to. Um, I have an engineering friend of mine that um, he's brought me into a lot of like reloading and stuff like that, and I always end up going the cheap route. And he's like, Sam, you just gotta buy once, cry once, man. And sometimes it just pays to just spend the money and then just move on, because at the end of the day you're going to spend the money buying the cheap thing, and then you're like, this sucks, and you still buy the expensive one anyhow. So
Absolutely, yeah. That's my lovely wife has beaten that into me. She's pushed me away from that the Harbor brand tools into
I
something
don't know.
affordable.
I'm still a firm believer in the old slobber freight.
Yeah, I mean they get the job done if you need to do it once. Um,
Yeah. Hey, I've got a guy he's a heavy equipment tech. Josh, he's been on the podcast plenty of times, and he's uh, he's got Harbor Freight tools that he bought 10 years ago, and he's still beating the ever loving crap out of them,
all
and
right,
they take it.
yeah,
So I mean, Either he's just got really good luck, or he got it when they were good. I don't know.
Yeah, it's speaking of I know this totally isn't on topic. I hope that's okay. Are we
That's
taking a little
fine.
left?
That's the way this podcast goes. We rabbit trail. It's fine.
All right, perfect. Back when I was doing onshoring stuff, it cracked me up because I was at a very large ag company, and we were doing a whole bunch of work, like trying to get them to. The funny thing about ag, they don't really want to reduce weight. They actually want the weight, and so like they want to reduce cost, all these things. And I've been beating my head against the wall on a combine product. I was just not getting any traction. And finally, one of the engineers, she's like, "Oh, I think we're gonna get somewhere because we're now combining the shipping cost with the component cost." And I was like, "What do you mean you're now combining the shipping?" Because those are in completely different, not even different reports, but different departments. And so the component cost and the shipping in like everything to get it here was not even put into the same accounting form at the point where people could make a good decision. And so it was a breakthrough for this large ag company to go, "Oh, our landed cost is not what we thought it was."
My lord.
Yeah, I mean, U.S. manufacturers, we were competing with the component cost at the door on the other side of the world, not here. And so,
Nice. So that was so it was like you were looking at the big picture with one eye covered, basically.
yeah, and just getting beat to death. It's like, okay, this is in what was that 2017, 18? Like, I feel like our system should have been a little bit farther along by then. Who knows?
Right.
So anyway, yeah.
So you've got this brainchild that this is what you're pushing and what you're doing now. How did you what started this drive? Where did you get this itch? What made Rusty?
That's fair. So, I mean, long term, I grew up. My dad was a tool and die maker, and so like we were in the shop when I was 12, building everything. He was a car guy. He actually grew up on a salvage yard back in the early 50s, and so he was building drag cars out of the salvage yard and never had a new component that he put together. And so I just grew up with that mentality. It was like, let's just go see if we can do something. And actually, I went to school as an electrical engineer, and it makes no sense because that's not my forte. I've never, once I've gotten out of school, I've never worked in electrical engineering. But the reason is, so my dad's a tool and die maker. My brother-in-law went to MIT for mechanical engineering and civil engineering, double major. He's a crazy smart guy. My cousin went to
Yeah.
school for chemical engineering, and we were always in the garage tinkering on stuff. And I was like, "Hey, we need controls. I can do that." So I went to school for electrical engineering, and not gonna lie, I hated most of it. Got really confused, and so I ended up graduating with an electrical engineering degree with actually a dual degree, electrical engineering and marketing, because I was an engineer that talked too much, with a
That's
math minor. So it's like, I guess there was
that's
a
right.
class.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, if there was a class on campus, I think I took it, and that's here I am. But on the why did I want to do this? I joke that's kind of like the Tormach model. You know who Tormach is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they're a small CNC machine, and they have really actually really nice little mills. I have one. I bought one whenever I was getting ready to start my shop, and it was the same kind of thing. I realized, okay, this little bitty $35,000 mill. They're beyond up since then, obviously, but it can hold plus or minus 5,000 tolerances. It's not gonna beat a Haas or a Kuma or anything else on the market,
That's
but
just above a router, if not equivalent to a router at at
kind
that
of.
phase.
It was 2 horsepower, and I can cut steel. I've cut a lot of steel tooling at plus minus 5,000 on that little dude. And I went, I'm not trying to make 400 of these, but
Right.
it's solid enough. I can start it, and I can walk off and go make some other part. Well, it's running for 8 hours over here.
Yeah.
And, I have a $20 hour sunk cost when I look at spreading it out over a few years. And it was like, okay, well, if no, so Tormach and Haas have now done that on the machining side, and we have thousands of machine shops that have opened up since those two have really pushed the market. But no one is doing that on the sheet metal side. And so that's
Right.
where I was like, I believe there's a Tormach model here. Like, if everything I build can be moved by a pallet jack and dropped off on a drop tailgate, then your little garage you're sitting in could have a sheet metal shop in it next week.
That would be killer. I so like just well, I'll name drop another maker for that matter. It's Stuff Made Here. That's where I learned the Tormach name.
Okay.
He's a YouTuber, and he's big brain engineer, and he's got a little machine shop with him. Inheritance Machine is another one, but he deals with a lot of the old iron lathes, and I think he just redid a shaper or something along that lines. But
Okay.
Those are two. If you're listening to the podcast, those are two guys that I recommend watching and listening. For the younger audience that I have.
Yeah.
Go check those guys out, because they started off, like, go way back to when they started, because they started off with, I think, Stuff Made Here. I'm pretty sure he built a mill in his dorm room and used it for many years. Like, he did the drives and the rails and everything. He did a lot like you, and built it in his dorm room. So that's another thing too. This is an entrepreneur option for the college startup or something. You're like, you get out and you're like, you know what? I don't really want to go work for somebody. I want to work for me.
Yeah, and that's actually an odd market that's popped up on my radar. Is so there's not a lot of sheet metal equipment in technical universities, because like Oklahoma State they have the engineering degree, but then they have the technology degree, which is like less theory, more hands-on,
Right.
which is beautiful.
That was the route that I went.
Yeah. But a lot of those schools, they have great labs, they have nice machine shops, but they don't have the floor space or the reason to have big sheet metal equipment. And so maker spaces and technical universities have really popped up as, like, I've done, quick side story, yeah, I've done demos, and I say demos because that hydroform press is actually small enough that I mount it in the back of a utility trailer, and it'll run on a 20 amp, on less than 20 amps of power. So I have a generator, and so like I'll pull up in the parking lot, drag the generator outside, plug it in, and make aerospace parts in the parking lot. And so, like, I've gone to the U of A, University of Arkansas, I've gone to Oklahoma State University, Arkansas, Three Rivers, and so they're looking at being able to put these little machines in places that tech degreed students can go use, as they're making senior design projects or whatever they're doing on campus. They get some.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, some forming experience before they ever get out of school. So also,
because that's something that, like, until I got the job working with you, I'd never seen anything along that lines. Hydroforming, drop hammer, stuff like that was not. It wasn't in the tech realm of it. It was, everybody, CNCs, mills, routers, lathes, lasers, stuff like that's common, pretty common for, the introduction to a manufacturing environment. Nobody talks about sheet metal forming, especially in being able to replicate parts and stuff like that. That, like, yeah, you can use a English wheel or a hammer in a leather bag or something along that lines, but not all of us have the grip strength of the forearms to be able to do that repeatedly and consistently.
I don't think I could do that once, honestly. I have an anvil, but I've played with an English wheel one time and it didn't even come close to what I wanted. So no, that's not me.
Yeah, I feel you. I've got 3 horses, and I've got one of them that has to have shoes all the time. And I've played around with just shaping the shoe, not even attaching it to the horse, and just shaping the shoe alone is it's an art form and a strength that I don't have.
I think
So
once Force and Fire came out,
yeah,
exactly. I think all of us tried to forge something after Force and Fire came out and hit Netflix.
Right.
Like, I can do that, yeah.
Like, I can make a knife, and then it comes out looking like this.
Precisely. Yep. But yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is, I think it's just my feeling that at some point people thought, oh, composites are coming in, sheet metal's going to go away, it'll all be replaced with really sexy, cool composites. And then we had like the Airbus accident for Air France, where we realized that extreme cold and extreme heat, the composites can't do some things that sheet metal does. And then our previous employer had some hand-carried parts over to the UK to get an A380 off the ground one time, and it was because the stress in the part in the wing, the frequency wasn't good for composites, and so they ended up replacing them with beaded panels, hydroform sheet metal panels. And so it's like, even in a lot of these huge composite gorgeous planes, there's a lot of sheet metal inside that we're not thinking about. And one of the things that I saw whenever we worked together was how cheap this type of forming is. Most people, when they think sheet metal forming, it's like the two side dies that clamp together, and you have to push stuff through, everything has to be mated and tensioned right, and they're really expensive. They're talking about $15,000 die starting, and they go up to, if you're in automotive, you're talking about $1 million dies. To where what we're doing with hydroforming, I say we did and now I'm doing, is it's rubber on one side. And so for the people that don't know, you take I should have brought a tool in here with me. You take a die and you put a piece of metal on it, and the rubber comes down and forms the other side of the die and squishes it together. But the cool thing about that is I've been 3D printing dies. And I know,
really?
Yeah. So, and I know we know, and everyone in the market knows you can use like Stratasys really high-end machines, and they're beautiful machines. But again, they're real expensive. And you can use materials like Altum to form stuff because that's almost as hard as steel. But me and my really blue collar,
you can use high density foam and stuff that could be machined pretty easily on a router as well. Yes.
absolutely, yeah, and tool board. But I went the other direction. I took my son's Ender 3 and shoved some PLA in it, which is the cheapest stuff you can buy, and started making tools. And I wanted to squish it and just see what I could do. And so I've made D-nose ribs for wings. I've made nacelle joints for like 737 nacelle. And then people kept saying, well, what's the heaviest material you can form on? I don't know. So I printed I'll send you a picture of it. I printed this block, and it's forming 150 thousandths or 9 gauge mild steel, and had this cut out on a plasma and put it in the machine. And I was like, I pushed the button and walked away because I was like, I don't want that thing shattering. And it's like, this is not going to work. And the damn thing worked. It formed thousandths mild steel over a PLA tool that was printed on an Ender 3 desktop printer. And I've now formed 20 parts on that same tool without it.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, now if we look at it, people that are sitting in their garages and they're like, I have an idea to make something, but I don't have $100,000 to have someone make the tooling and make all the things and do this. If I can get some of this stuff into maker spaces, now you can go get a minimum viable product or a prototype with a $20 roll of filament. It's yeah. So
that's crazy. That's pretty awesome, man. I would have never. Well, I say that. So I have my engineer friend Michael. We work together. We've done some things, and he's the one that introduced me to 3D printing. I'm still very much a monkey on a wrench, and I have the ability to understand some of the things, but not really the brain power to wrap around a lot of it. And so he introduced me to the whole 3D printing aspect of it. Well, so there was a part on a machine that started off. We were buying it from the OEM for, I want to say it was $800, and this is like, it's basically UHMW is what it looks like. I don't know exactly what it's made of because it's proprietary, but that's what it looked like. It looked like UHMW. So I was like, this is ridiculous. We're paying $800 for this piece. That's it's a 6-inch diameter disc, and it had a plastic quick collet on the inside of it, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. We're paying an astronomical amount of money for this.
Insane.
So and they break. If you get too aggressive with it, it pulls the ring off of it. I'm like, this is stupid. So it went from $800 to $1,800 in a year,
No.
and it went from $1,800 to $2,400 in 3 years.
Okay.
At the $1,800, I was like, okay, we've got to be able to do something with this. So I sat down with Michael, and we started modeling SolidWorks and taking out the flexibility of it. And you can now, the part that we have designed, it's got a little cylinder in the center of it, and then it's got kind of a taper, and then it's flat. And you take a steel collet now, not a plastic one.
Okay.
Put it in there, and it's got a little lock ring that holds it into the 3D printed body.
Okay.
You can stand on that dude and jump up and down at 220 pounds, and it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
And it costs us $5.36.
Yep. I mean, additive has its place, and just thinking differently about manufacturing has its place. Like, you're probably not going to ever replace the OEM part. Like, I'm not building stuff to compete with the Versons and the other companies that are out there, PHP and Triform, those guys, because like they're building huge stuff. But realistically, what I see is like thinking differently. I think I can build an on-ramp for those people, right? Like the people that are buying my equipment aren't buying their equipment, but you give them 3 years, and they're making money in their garage. Now we might go buy a Cadillac.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
But you just gotta think about things in a different way. I mean, obviously there's all the requirements and specifications, but there's so many things that aren't held down by specifications that we could do just slightly differently and be so much better off. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I'm excited. Like this is the first time that you and I have really sat down and talked about this concept that you have. Well, It's not really even a concept at this point. It's in action.
It is. We have one machine in the market and 2 more I'm getting our release pricing for. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So I'm excited about it because I'm like, this is cool. It's not something that. This is what you're talking about is something that Michael would probably buy and put in his garage because he's just that level of guy.
We need to connect.
Yeah, no, well, I will connect you guys for sure. he is that guy that to where it's so he has a 91 Firebird, I think it is.
Yeah.
And sure, you can tinker with the old throttle body injection and stuff like that. Well, it was giving him fits. So he said, screw it. So he went and bought all of the stuff. I don't think it was a major brand of EFI, but he kind of piecemealed all of it together.
Okay.
And he's doing it himself. And he's built parts and made brackets and all of this stuff to make this car a fuel injected car, and he's done it all himself. And it's like some of the things that he comes up with, I'm just like, how did you even do that?
Yeah, why not?
I think he 3D printed something that for 300 PRC, I believe it is, or actually I think he made 2 variants of it, one for his 308 and one for his 300 PRC, to where you can set the bolt in it and that pull the firing pin out of it. So it's like you had to screw something in to depress it in order to be able to pull the roll pin out.
Yeah.
And he just sat down in front of the computer and just designed it and then 3D printed the sucker.
Yeah.
And
so,
I mean,
my dad, he's that guy too. He's now 75, but whenever he was doing tool and die making stuff, there was a dip in aerospace, and so he actually went out and he and his buddy helped start a concrete company. For some ungodly reason, I don't know. That was my first job at 12, was standing concrete.
Who on earth thought that like I would go from aerospace to let's go to do concrete?
He wised up after about 2 years and went back to aerospace. It was funny because they bought this like 1960s dump truck that had a big V8 in it and it ran like crap. Yeah, the back 2 cylinders were just trashed, and so my dad actually went in and he cut off the cam and the rods, so that he actually sealed the back 2 cylinders and so he made it a 6 cylinder, and they ran that thing. Jim, my dad's best friend, ran it for about 3 years after Dad went back to work, but he had the 6 cylinder V8 that up and down the road it worked, and it's just I was
Wow.
like, why'd you do that? And he's like, why not? We had it.
That's it. That's probably the best response right there, though. Is it's why did you do that? And it's why not? What
Yeah.
I can, so why not do it?
As you can tell by the description, I did not get the car guy gene from my dad. Um, somehow I built all kinds of stuff, but motors was never my forte. So
Yeah, hey, I get it. Um, like I said, like I said earlier, I'm really good with a wrench, and I can do certain things, and I can understand the computer controls and
mhm.
stuff like that. But there's a barrier there where that I hit that, and I'm like going, I don't get it.
That's why we all have specialties, and I think the more people we can get access to manufacturing and learning and the different tools, our inventions will take off. We won't just keep pace with the world. We'll help outpace the world. We just need more people with
I
access.
really I really feel like that the upcoming generation is kind of like they say that history not only repeats itself, it's a circle.
Hmm.
It seems to come back around, and I really feel like that our children are gonna be that that upstart generation that are, I'm tired of buying things. I'm gonna make it myself, or I can do that without having to pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
Like I've talked about it before. My 16-year-old daughter is in automotive tech, and
Cool.
she she came to me and was like, what do you think about me going to automotive tech? I said, you'll never have to rely on anybody to fix your vehicle, and you'll always have a job. So
Yep.
I'm 100% for it.
Absolutely.
and And then, so the older truck that she has that was given to her on her 16th birthday, the good old Triton 5.4 liter, um, the cam phasers and timing chains and all that stuff came due, and so that's been her project at Votech, and she's
Nice.
actually trying to wrap that up this week, and get it back on the road. But her and one of her classmates have done all the work themselves, and
That's
it,
awesome.
it's it's been pretty cool, man. It's pretty
Yeah.
neat to see her, have that spark. It started off working on tractors and stuff in the yard out here, in the shop out here. She spent last winter with me trying to get another project tractor, which was a terrible mistake.
I feel like I see a trend.
Yeah, I'm really hoping this one's not in the same boat. Um, this one's at least gas, and I understand gas a lot more than I do propane.
Yeah.
The other one, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Propane would be really neat. No, no, it's not. Don't do it. It's a bad idea.
Run away.
Yeah, run away. Just run away. They look cool. If you get one that's already running, sure, fine, no problem. Don't try and take one that doesn't run and make it run. Um, the funny thing is I made it run, but only after it was getting a new zip code and rolling onto another trailer.
The things break whenever you get them off the trailer, and they're running when you put them on. Interesting. That's
That
you
that
might
does
want to
seem.
roll that around. That's a little weird.
Yeah, I know. It's not exactly the most profitable
Yeah.
way of doing things, but you know,
That's cool.
I tried to start a YouTube channel at one point that was just called Projects with Sam,
Okay.
um, because it never failed that it was like a 15-minute project turned into a 4-day fiasco, and so I was like, as painful as this is, someone will find this entertaining. And I never really got the commitment to recording or doing the editing, and so it never took off. But all
Here you
my
go.
friends and family get to see it.
Yeah. Like, see, I did a lot of work. It's on video. There's proof. That's
Yeah.
that's a. I actually have a 15-year-old daughter, and it was funny you're talking about your daughter going into automotive tech, because my daughter last year she was like, "Hey, I want to get a lathe for Christmas," and so my aunt bought her this little wood lathe, and because like my dad we have lathes, we have mills and stuff, but she's not quite ready to jump on those yet, and so she wanted to do
Right.
wooden things, and so she bought this cute little wood lathe off of Amazon, and she played with that for about 3 days, and she came in and she goes, "Okay, I want a real lathe now. That was fun."
She goes, I can't do crap with this.
Yeah, she was like, "I got $100. I don't know what I can do." So I was like, "Well," so we looked at Facebook Marketplace, found this old Delta, this all cast iron. The guy had it set for $100, and I was like, "Oh, you want this?" And so we went over and talked to him, and I was like, "Well, would you take 75 for it?" Just trying to be, I don't know why, being cheap. And he goes, "No, no, got to 100." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." I turned to her and was talking to my stepdaughter. I was like, "Hey, um, if you want the lathe, you got to negotiate because it's yours. It's not mine." And I was like, "So you talk to the gentleman. I'm going to go back to the car and you tell me what you want to do." And as I was walking away, he was like, "Oh, it's your lathe?" He goes, "I'll give it to you for $75. I'll throw in some tools." And so he's a super nice old guy. He rebuilds machines
Awesome.
like that for fun, but he was like, "I'm going to invest in the next generation." So
That's
it's
great.
I mean, that's really the blue collar mentality. Is like there are so many people that have specialty talents, and if you just ask how to do it or how to get involved, they're gonna jump in and show you.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, it's either ask, or for that matter, a lot of times it's just a matter of shut up and listen. Just pay attention. And you will gain so much knowledge. But I mean, again, the inquiry aspect of it is just ask.
Yeah,
Most people nowadays are more than happy to share that knowledge with you. And and also, there's also the other aspect of it is okay, maybe you don't know how to do it, try it.
yeah, yeah. I've done a lot of things I probably shouldn't have tried.
Oh yeah,
Most have
no,
worked
I am a
out.
YouTube certified mechanic. Okay.
YouTube certified. That's awesome. Yeah. I unfortunately have rebuilt my Dodge Ram because it has the eco things, the dropout um, on the lifters, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I YouTubed it, and I will say it runs.
There you go.
Probably not as good as if someone professional did it, but it runs. And so,
Hey, there you go.
yeah.
And it probably didn't cost you near as much money to do it yourself as it did somebody else.
No, they offered to give me $750 for it at the dealership because they said it wasn't worth fixing. And so I told them to give me my truck back and we'll go figure it out. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious. How old is said Dodge Ram?
It's only 2014. I mean, it's old, but it's not that old. Yeah, it's not like it's a piece of junk. And also, it's crew cab, Bighorn edition. It's a nice truck. I pull
What
my
the hell?
utility trailer around there, do my demos with my rebuilt Dodge Ram that I built or rebuilt out here. Yeah,
Yeah.
got a whole
Stick
lot.
that in your pipe and smoke it, Dodge dealership.
Exactly. They were excited to give me a trade in for that next one. Like I don't want to pay $55,000 for another one. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, $55,000. You'd be lucky to walk away with one for that. That'd
That's
be a used $55,000 one.
that's true. Good point. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I never thought about that.
I've
My
been in the.
machine's selling for less than a new truck. That's weird. That's
Hey, there you go. There is a marketing ploy right there for
yeah.
you. Be like, need a new truck? Don't worry about it. Buy this. You can earn the money to pay for the new truck.
Pay
It's
for it with
cheaper.
cash.
There you go. Yeah, I did the whole buying because I had to buy the diesel one because for whatever reason the horses in my pasture keep reproducing, not naturally, but like we keep acquiring more.
Okay.
I think we've maxed out. I think 3 is all we need because it's just me, the wife, and the daughter.
Understand.
So I think we're tapped out at this point. But I was towing around with previously mentioned F-150, trying to tow the 2 horses in a steel trailer,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I bought a transmission.
Yeah, you did.
Um, so I went. So it came time for we try and keep to a 1 car payment just for the minimal debt deal. And so we paid the other vehicle off, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a real truck. And then I started looking at real truck prices, and I was like, holy crap, they're really proud of these things. But I'll drop another one in here, like Blue Collar Cash is a book that by Ken Rusk. It's one that I'm currently reading.
Okay.
If you recall at all, I'm not a big reader.
Yeah.
So if the book has managed to capture my attention, it's worth reading.
Okay, I'll jot that down.
It talks about, well, he actually he breaks it down into a simpler aspect of it, to where if you have a future that you envision and a goal that you want, draw it out, draw it detailed. He goes buy a 64 pack, a 64 crayons, different colors, and sit down and really draw out what you envision your future to be. And then set goals and and reach those goals, and then scratch those off on your picture as you go down the road.
Yeah.
So I say that to get to the I wanted the truck. We had what we had, but we mustered through, and then we were able to get another vehicle that I've got a 2019 GMC 3500, and it actually ended up being a 3500 instead of a 2500, because that's all I was looking for, was a 3/4 ton.
Yeah.
I had no intention of buying a 1 ton, but somebody had taken all the badges off of it, so I didn't know. And we were signing paperwork on it, and I was like, hey, you screwed up. They're like, no, it's a 3500. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, all right, sweet.
I'll
never have to buy another truck. It'll tow everything that we put behind it. It's fine.
So now you can get more horses. That's what I hear.
No. Honey, if you're listening to this podcast, don't listen to him. No.
After, so when I left our employer, I ended up going to Kansas. I married a girl, and she went to vet school. And I was like, oh, this is cool. We'll never have a vet bill again, right?
No.
I was wrong. What you do is you just collect broken animals. So, yeah, then whenever someone else is like, I think we should just put that one down, she's like, nope, we're going to take it on and we'll just pay for it and take care of it. It's okay.
Like 9 3-legged dogs, a cat with one eye.
We had an alpaca named Alvin for a while. He was awesome. He came to live with us. I thought he was going to make it a couple months, and he lived like another 6.5 years. I'm telling you, as soon as he died, I was on Facebook Marketplace and Google looking for buying an alpaca. And they're like a $5,000 animal, so I backed off of that choice.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I know. But there's a reason. The alpaca will make you happier than any horse. Not for riding it, obviously, but to come home and see that stupid looking thing in your field. You can have a bad day and be like, I could look like that. So if you haven't ever seen a shaved alpaca, whenever you're done with this podcast, go look it up. It is like a living Q-tip. It is amazing. Yeah.
I will do my best to try and drop in a photo here of a shaved alpaca.
Yeah. So he was definitely our favorite broken animal. But yeah, that's collecting broken animals was not on my my goal list for life, but here we are.
Oh, I hear you on that one. Like I've told many people that where I am today with the number of animals that I have, which at this point in time, let's see, technically I am in the state of Oklahoma. I am a chicken farmer.
Oh,
I have 7 chickens currently, and they're growing. And they're growing on me. That's the other thing that I'm not real happy about, is the fact that I like the feathered retards.
Yeah.
Pardon the language.
They're special.
But they're so goofy, but they're so entertaining to watch. And that may be my old age that's starting to kick in there, to where I just enjoy sitting on the back porch watching the critters. But chickens they're wild animals, man. They're really interesting, and I'll never be the large scale chicken farmer. That's never my intent. But they produce things. Yeah. I can sell said produced things, and they don't cost me anything. And if I can get enough chickens to offset the cost of the horses,
that's a lot of chickens.
That's a lot of chickens. It may be the.
You might be
I may have to be the large-scale chicken farmer, so maybe I have to lower the goals there.
we got up to 20, and we're like, this is probably too many. Whenever they were laying, we're like, we're getting almost 24 eggs a day. I don't need to deal with 24 eggs a day.
Right. Yeah, I'm thinking like right now we're looking at 10 because I mean we had 5. We started off, and we've gone way off the podcast, the initial goal here, but it's fine. If you're listening this long, go ahead and give us a comment, subscribe, go check out Maker's Equipment.
Absolutely.
You know, but if you listen this long, then just enjoy the ride. I don't even remember where the hell I was going at that point.
Yeah,
the marketing aspect of it kicked in there, but
that's awesome. Farming is fun. I will say it is way more work than I ever expected it to be. It's like, hey, let's buy 40 acres. And you're like, oh crap, now we need equipment to take care of said 40 acres. And hey, we just had 2 trees fall down on the driveway on our way out. It's like, oh good God. This is it adds up quick, but it's fun. We ended up having, I think we got up to 4 horses. One of them was rideable because the other ones were again broken pasture animals. And we had an alpaca, 2 sheep. Neither of them were useful anyway. They were accidental sheep that we got stuck with. They were a hair meat cross. So like they didn't have true wool and they didn't have true hair, and it was just, it was. They lived for like 13 years. That was crazy. So if you
just die.
My wife asked the production professor at the University of Arkansas, I was like, how long do these things live? And he was like, usually less than 2 years, so I have no idea what to tell you. It's like, oh, good point. They're usually eaten by now, so yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, hey, at this point, I think if anything that's got 4 legs, it's within reason. It's eatable.
Fair. Within reason, I like that. Yep.
And now the podcast is gone.
Yep. And the end is a minute and a half ago. We'll take that off.
We'll put this on the Patreon side of the podcast.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, this has been fun, man. Thanks for having me on here. That was really cool.
Hey, not a problem. It has been a pleasure catching up, and we definitely need to stay in touch. I'm gonna follow you regardless, just because I want to see where the equipment goes. I remember seeing the press that you had in the trailer was featured in a couple of posts on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, damn, that's pretty slick.
The craziest thing that's happened with that press so far is I was down in Huntsville, Alabama, which I did not know was like the rocket capital of the United States. Also, I will throw this in, way cooler city than I ever expected. Holy crap. Good beer if you're into beer. Good food. Obviously, we're both into food.
Now the internet is going to betray me.
Yeah, you're good. But there was a guy that asked, he was like, do you think this could, is it light enough to be picked up by a falcon? And my brain went to the bird, and I was like, no? What?
100% no.
I don't think there's a big enough no. I almost made a Monty Python joke there with the African swallow carrying the coconut, but anyway. But he was talking about moon-based stuff, like could it be lifted by a Falcon Heavy or something for manufacturing?
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I would have to just like quit. Like that would be like peak if I was
like,
from redneck.
Right. Check mark. We're done. Going home.
Redneck from Oklahoma that put something on the moon. I'm like, I would. Also, if I ever got in the pissing contest, like one-up contest, like you know what, I'm done with this. You have anything on the moon? I've got something on the moon. Nope.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have a hydroform press on the moon. So what now?
So probably will never happen. But it was just a weird conversation. Like I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Well, yeah. So there's another YouTuber that I follow, Destin Sadlin, Smarter Every Day.
Okay.
He is a rocket scientist, and puts out absolutely phenomenal content. I my nephew, which is now going to, he's in Tahlequah and he's going for engineering. I don't know if he went mechanical or what, but I got him hooked on him at like 12.
Okay.
And it sparked his, his interest for the engineering, because Destin is probably our age and he seeks knowledge with that childlike joy, and just soaks it in. And then the way he's able to portray it in the video and break down he's got a series he's doing on nuclear power right now.
Okay.
That is phenomenal.
I would check that out for sure.
Yes. And well, because you spent some time in the power production industry, did you not?
I did, yeah. I did internships with the Bureau of Reclamation on hydroelectric dams and power plants. So, yeah.
Perfect. So he's doing, like, he does these deep dive series, like he did one on submarines, and now he's doing the one on nuclear power, because everybody's so scared of nuclear. Oh no, it's terrible. Nuclear is amazing.
It's incredible. And like
it
Hollywood has produced this, like, oh my gosh, this nuclear sludge, the waste is this green ooze, and actually in the heat treatment,
none of that's true.
I know. I realized that it's actually rods, obviously, but they're just uranium rods. But the heat treatment we did, they actually make these casks, what they call them. So like it's Austemper ductile iron casks that you put the rods in, and the decay process of the ductile iron cask in like worst case scenario is longer than what it would take for the rods to be benign. And so then they put them in said storage places that are going to take longer than that to decay. And like the testing they went through, like dropping these casks from 7 stories up, fully loaded, to make sure they weren't going to shatter. Like, I don't know why you'd need to do this test, but it worked, so that's cool. It's like it's crazy.
And then the thing that I loved too is, I can't remember the freaking terminology of it, but the color of the radiation, it's the Simpsons have coined it as it's green glow, but it's not. It's actually blue. And it's this is all things that I've learned by watching the Smarter Everyday podcast. But it's stuff like that right now, in this point in our lives, there is more information available in the palm of your hand at an instant than there ever has been.
It's overwhelming. We take it for granted. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane at how much stuff that you can do right now.
Yeah. Has he talked about the salt reactors? Because those are cool. I
don't think so.
They're not the newest technology, but they're the newest, like, commercially available technology. And it's like, you're not even using uranium or plutonium anymore. It's salt. And so the reaction there is like, it starts almost benign and it ends benign. It's crazy. But yeah, it's you should definitely look that up. It's really cool.
Definitely. Well, man, I think we've gone on plenty of rabbit trails here. I think it's a freaking great. This is a great episode, and these are the episodes that I love making, because they're fluid and we get there's always information, and it. I don't know. This is one of the things. This is why I feel like this podcast it had a place and it needed to continue on, because there's information like we talked about previously that's available to be shared. You just need to be shared.
Yep, I agree. That was awesome.
So this has been Living the Dream podcast. I'm Sam. This is Rusty, and we'll see y'all next week. If you're late, you're lost.